No, I'm just
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
can't I can't stop going back and watching film on it or kind of rewatching certain parts and listening to everything that's going on after the game,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
kind of see where kind of people are popping out of nowhere and kind of having 2 cents about stuff and
All of a
saying this
sudden,
and
right?
yeah, all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? We win one game and the nation comes
Right.
back together and now everybody's a Raider fan again all over again. So
That's why I was saying on my show, I was like, I remember all of y'all that
yeah.
said you was done after Chicago. You were never coming back. This was disgrace of a team. And then now all of a sudden you back over here yelling. Like, I remember.
Yep.
I got the receipts, motherfuckers.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But yeah,
But
man. No, man, I'm hyped too, dog. I've been hyped since we heard the change that night.
yeah.
Since we all heard that change that Tuesday night. I've been hyped since then. The game like reaffirmed that for me. What I saw on the field, the energy with the players, Coach Pierce coming out on the low, them
Yeah.
playing them playing different music in Vegas, bro. I'm telling you, I've been there many a times, and they had never ever played no Easy or NWA in that stadium since I've been there. It's normally the band and like a couple of pop or Vegas type like club
Yeah.
songs. So just to hear that that's change is happening, bro,
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm with it.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
think I can't remember who it was that said it. I think someone said it in the chat. I also saw it on Crosby. He was saying on his that the Rushlow
Oh,
podcast
the
that he has.
rush. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He was saying that like the atmosphere, of the training and the locker room and everything, it feels a little like Oakland, even though it's Vegas, you
Right, right,
know.
right. Hmm.
And you even said, like the NWA and bringing out the Lolo, like now that's touching in on the West Coast, the West Coast Raider fans and all that stuff. Like, I mean, because
Yeah.
we were in LA too, so
Hmm.
um I mean, Oakland, LA, it's all West Coast. It's different. It
Well,
has its differences.
yeah. I mean, when you talk to the Oakland fans, they call LA South Oakland.
Yeah,
They call us South Oakland, but yeah, it's a difference, but it's still that different vibe that was missing in Vegas that a lot of Raider fans were complaining about.
yeah,
So,
no,
so
yeah,
I'm glad that it's back, dog. I really am. Hmm.
yeah. It feels totally different. Like I mean, I can't even really touch on it enough. Like just how like my wave is still up here. Like it hasn't came down. It
Yeah, me
hasn't
either.
decreased at all. Like
Hmm.
I'm riding that shit. To the very next game, and if we can do the same thing we did in this next game, I mean, I know it's the Jets. Hopefully, our defense could show up and give more opportunities for our offense because their defense ain't no bums. It's still
Woo! No, they got a stout ass defense, bro.
yeah. So I mean, especially like their line up front. They
Hmm.
got some players up front. They got Sauce Gardner in the back.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a tough game. It really is. It's gonna be a tough game. I think if we can just stay competitive, I mean, if we can do anything close to what we did against the Giants, I know they're two different teams, but if our
Hmm.
defense could, go out there and slow them down the way they did, 19 passing yards at the half. I know it's a different team, but
Hmm.
if we can go out there and see some of the same, and
Right.
even if we lose, but it's a close game, like we lose by like 3 points or something, like I still
Yeah.
have faith in where this team is heading. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I think we could win it still. If you look at the Jets offense, like who they played and the defenses that stop them, it's like I think our defense is better than the Charger defense. I think our defense is better than the Giants defense. The way
Yeah,
they've been playing. My only concern would be this. This is game two now for Bo, for AP, for O'Connell, right? And now let's start to see what we're gonna start doing, what this offense is gonna really look like.
yeah,
The Giants game to me was greatly coached in the way they prepared him for it. The five wide, the quick slants, the
yes,
running of Jacobs, bro. You
the
should have
5 wide.
seen me at Pizzico every time Jacobs gained 7 or 8 yards, dog. I was jumping like this is the Raider Jacobs that I remember,
Yes,
that I've been waiting for.
and I think
So
that's the first time this season I've seen 5 wide. I don't mean to cut you off, but you made a great
yeah,
point right there.
that was the first time I was shocked. I was
Yes,
looking at my cousin like, bro. Is that 5
Yeah.
wide receivers? Like,
Counting them like 1, 2. Holy shit, we're running 5 wide.
yeah. And
Like
then you
that's
just
what I'm
see
talking
the
about.
middle wide open,
Wide
and
open.
Jacoby Myers just like, look, look, like, oh, that's all day, bro. That's all
Yep.
day right there.
Yep.
So just to see, I guess, kind of like the chains broken loose from these guys, and
Yeah.
see them having fun, like that run Jacoby Myers made, and Tay made that block for him to
Yeah.
score. To see how happy Tay was blocking, you know, like that's the shit I'm talking about. Like you see
Yeah.
them having fun, enjoying the game, and if they can do that against the Jets, it's not going to be as easy. Like I don't see us putting up 24 points in the first half,
Yeah.
but
That's facts.
you know, but definitely control the ball and keep that. The longer we keep that defense on the field, I think the more success we'll have against
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. And I mean the offensive line too. I mean, no sacks, AOC,
Yeah,
no turnovers. You know, like I think he had like about 6 incompletions or something like that. It wasn't for a whole bunch of yards, but still he
yeah.
did his job. He did what he needed to do. You know,
Yeah.
like he took care of the ball. And I think that was one of the things that all of us were like, we don't want to see, 3 fumbles and 2 interceptions, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So for him to be able to protect the ball, the line keep him clean, I know Rundown super happy about that.
Yeah, he is.
Shout out to Rundown. Um,
Yeah.
for him to be clean, and I don't think I noticed it until I watched one of Rundown's show. He's like, "Did you see his jersey? Like it was clean." And I was like,
Yeah,
"Holy
yeah.
shit, yeah!"
Yeah,
They
it
they
was.
didn't sack him or anything,
Mhm.
like that's what's up, So and then to see who was it that came in? NJS on defense.
Oh yeah, Lester. Yeah.
Him and what the cigar after, like, I don't know why they keeping me on the bench, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it,
For real.
to me, that does tell me that Josh McDaniels was kind of playing favorites a little bit with his players.
And that's crazy because they drafted him. Like they drafted Nesta
Yeah.
J. Silvera, and you were keeping them off, like for whatever
Shout out to
freaking
Josh.
reason you were, like that's crazy to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. When you guys were saying NJS, I'm like, who the hell is NJS? Like, and then I saw his name and I was like, holy shit, I haven't seen him all year. Like, yeah,
Oh yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
so and to see him actually out there putting in work, like
Yeah.
not as so much as like he was the star of the defense, but I mean he was out there, doing his job.
He was. He was taking up blockers and shit.
Yeah.
Like there were a couple of videos that I saw. I
Yeah.
think they were actually joking because Tillery got pushed away, and there were 2 dudes on NJS, and he just stood them up.
Yeah,
And I was like,
double
oh,
teamed, and he just kind
yeah.
of planted his feet
He
and
just
held them
planted.
both there and kind of rolled off and kind of like made the tackle and shit.
Yeah,
I know what you're
I
talking
was
about.
like, okay, like that's the shit I'm talking about. Like, that's the kind of shit I want to see, especially from a rookie.
Yeah, and then the
Especially-
attitude after, like, I don't know why they playing with me, man. Like, keep me on, like he
Yeah,
sounds like he wants to go out there and show what he has. At least give him a chance. So
definitely.
that was good to see. And like you said, a rookie making an impact like that. So hopefully our other rookie, could start putting in some work like that too. He's coming around. He has some. Wilson has some.
He had a sack,
flashes.
right?
Yeah,
He's been
having some flashes.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot more of the run blocking stuff too.
Yeah.
I know Rundown pointed it out last time. He's kind of like Chandler was last year, where he wasn't getting the sacks, but he was good at the run game, the defensive run game. And that's where and it makes sense because of his strength. He's still that big, strong dude. He hasn't developed the pass rush moves, but just to see him still getting better. And I think he's getting more comfortable coming off of that injury with that foot.
Yeah.
I do see him a lot more comfortable, a lot better. So I hope to see more from him. But bro, what about Butler? You got Butler going, you got freaking Bilal Nichols, like all those fools that we was clowning on in the beginning of the year, all of a sudden they're doing their thing,
All right. Before we go on, we got 2 more special guests. Blessing my page for the first time. Ultimate Raider fan. What is up?
What up, sir?
Raider
what
Nation.
is up?
What's up?
Thank you guys for being here, man. I really do appreciate it.
Appreciate the invite. Real Men Are Raiders podcast. I'm digging it. I'm ready to get popping with y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're just talking about how we still haven't came down off that wave, from everything we've seen from that game. Like, how are you guys feeling? Has it died down a little bit? Has it sunken in, or are you guys still super hyped for the rest of the season? Let's start with you, Turf.
Yes, I'm personally ecstatic. I'm still in Vegas.
Yeah,
I can't wait for Sunday. It's going to be another amazing game. What I love more than anything, what sunk in the most is the effort given. The small little changes that were made that we've now heard about and discussed. Simple things like practice players being on the sidelines, giving you that little extra juice, as they've been saying and calling it. And that's what AP has brought to the table. And no matter what, like he said, yeah, they party, and that was probably not a good look, to put all that out like that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I heard people say some negative stuff about that.
What I'm saying is, see, what that all does is it all puts the accountability and ownership not only on the coach, but the players.
Yeah.
Right? Now the players are accountable. Right? Yeah. It's no longer we're doing my system. It's what do you like to run? What do you like to run? And now everybody's accountable. So win, lose, or draw for the rest of the season, you will see effort. And that's what's important.
Yeah, no. From everything that I saw, like I was telling Leo, I just want to continue to see that same effort, that same energy, if not like what Antonio Pierce said, more. I want to continue to see more, like what's the word I'm looking for? Just in the positive direction. I can't think of the word that I'm looking for right now, but I want to see that change. I want to be able to keep seeing it, not just for one game.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you, Rafa? Where are you at right now? Are you still all riding high on the win from the Giants and Antonio Pierce, or are you kind of coming down from it a little bit?
I was really surprised because after that I just saw for the news how Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler got fired, just like finally our answers are being answered because we had a miracle. And from my perspective view, I mean, Antonio Pierce is just like a little man. He knows everything about the football and he learns about how to dominate about the football with blood, sweat, and tears. And that's a great statement because what we just see about for Las Vegas Raiders versus New York Giants, that is a big statement. And what I just saw for the press conference of Antonio Pierce, we had to play much aggressive. We had to prepare what's going to happen next because that's what we needed for. We're just looking for like a leader and man for years, for decades. And Antonio Pierce is just like the right decision. And it's not going to be like the Patriot way. It's not going to be Josh McDaniels. It's not going to be Dave Ziegler. It's all about the Shield. It's all about Raiders because we just embrace all about the culture. They grew up in Oakland, California. And it's absolutely incredible how the fans, they want to embrace the whole culture with passion. All the fans they are chanting out for because we're bringing the culture back, the mojo. I mean, the embrace it about the future, about the football. And I think the Aidan O'Connor is making like a statement as a future of the quarterback because what would you see about Aidan O'Connor being like the future in a generation? I mean, it's just like in the mind for a click. And Nesta Chase Silvera, he just make like a great example about the block tackler, and that's what he needed for. And I know that the linebacker room is fully stacked. I think that the Raiders got the right decision to make Antonio Pierce. And I will tell you this. I think from my perspective, opinion, I will say this, Antonio Pierce will be stay for one more season for the Raiders because if we that brought that same energy that we brought him, I mean, that could be absolutely amazing. And for the next games against for the Giants, I think we might be careful for the offense, and we need to take care of Zach Wilson as long as for the quarterback.
Yeah, and just to touch on the linebackers real quick, Jalen Smith, just going to the team and
go Irish.
You know what I'm saying? Make like letting his presence be known. So shout out to Jalen Smith being on the team. For a couple days and going out there, and I'm pretty sure Antonio Pierce was just like, "Dog, just go out there and do what you do." I mean, you know, just go out there
Play
and do what you
football,
do.
bro.
Yep.
Play
Yeah.
Go
Exactly.
play football. Yep.
Yep. So I really want to hear what everybody thinks about this. Leo, I want you to go first because
What is
I've been
it?
hearing a lot of stuff about. I not even hearing, but I've been reading. You know, a lot of people saying a lot of negative stuff about how the Raiders chose to celebrate or handle themselves. The
Right.
smoking the cigars in the locker room, you know what I'm saying, like just everything
Right.
like that. You know, so Leo, we'll go to you, Turf, and then Rafa, and then I'll give my input at the end. So let's see what you hear. Well, let me hear what you guys say, Leo. I want to hear
Look, man,
this.
I'll say this much, dog. Like, it's been a while since we've been happy with our team. You go back to the switch of coach from when we had Rich, the fan base was behind them, and then we got this new dude come in. A lot of us were trying to be optimistic, like, yeah, let's give it a chance. But deep down inside, we were like, is it gonna work? Whatever. So I think it was kind of like a celebration of freedom to go back to our ways. A lot of the times you hear people be like, damn, like the Raider swag, the Raider way. Forget the Raider way, we lost it. I'm not talking about wins. When I'm in the Raider way, I'm talking about that swag we had. We're the bad boys, we're the villains of this damn league, and we do whatever the hell we want when we want it to.
Facts.
And when I saw the celebration, and I think even when I saw Max's show on the Rush, why he did it, like it made sense to me. Is that because we're Raiders, because we can. That's what we do. I get where people get confused, like, oh, it was unclassy. It's not like you guys won the Super Bowl or you guys this, and that. Like, I get that part. But you can't ask for the culture to come back and then expect them to be proper when they win. Like, bro, it's either we're thugs and we're winning and we're doing it our way, or we're
Yeah.
gonna do it the way the rest everybody else was. I was cool with it.
Yeah.
If I was at home, I would have got my cigar and I would have lit that shit too while I was home. But I wasn't home yet. But best believe Sunday night, I'm gonna have that fucker with me though.
There
When
you
we
go.
win, clip, cut, I'm about to start smoking it too. Cause for real, bro, that's the shit that I liked and I wanted to see. And that's what I was hype about. Was getting that Raiders swag back and seeing it translate onto the field, bro.
Yes, seeing it on the field really, I think for me is what really like that's why I'm still up here. You know what I'm saying? So Turf,
Mhm.
what you think about the celebration? You know what I'm saying? I heard you touch on it a little bit too, so I want to hear what you guys say.
Yeah. So first and foremost, not only do I condone it, it was necessary. And this is in-house. And that's like the big part of it when it comes down to, it kind of being unacceptable, if you will. Clearly down the line, if we doing what we doing and we thugging it out, right? What stays in the streets is in the streets, right? It doesn't go to the public. It's not a good look. But as I've stated, I condoned it because that's something we haven't had in a long time. It's it's kind of like, right, that wild child in college we all met, boy or girl, didn't matter, right? We all knew which kid was sheltered, never could get out of the house without being bubble wrapped. And then when they got to out to the real world, they lost their mind, right? And that's what we needed to do right there. We needed to lose our mind. We needed to show a little bit of that. And I was okay with it for those reasons. But moving forward, what's in house stays in house. People don't need to know how we party. People don't need to know how we get down.
Yeah, no, that's facts.
And the reality is, right, you do want to fit in with the rest of the world, with the rest of the league. Let's keep it real. Let's have some class. Let's do things right in those particular ways, right? Because that is how you're gonna get to where you're really trying to be overall, all the way around, right? And like I say, hey, we know who we are, right? There's no reason to have to force everybody else to know who we are from that respect. So that's how I feel about it. And again, like I say, last point is I condoned it because necessary. It was needed, and I didn't care. Right? We've all had that moment. I've had that moment in life myself where I didn't want my mama to see that video. Oops.
So, Rafa, did you see the video of them smoking the cigars in the locker room after the game, celebrating? You're muted.
Oh yeah, just a habit of the microphone. But the locker room experience, the vibe was really different because before that was so like very normal, but it was like a meh. But I think the locker room celebration they had Max Crosby, Devontae Adams, and the speech of Antonio Pierce, it all begins for the brand new era. And I mean, the locker rooms get a great vibe, get a little style on it because they just bring all this culture back. Because we're no longer the laughing stock of the NFL. We're bringing back that era from the bad boys, Los Malosos, because
Yeah.
that's what it feels right. It feels damn right they have a celebration because we're no longer like the laughing stock of the NFL because we represent the bad boys of the NFL. We shock the entire world. We just being like the villains of the history because it's not about it the heroes and everything because we just embrace like the villains that we had. We just shocked the entire world. We had the beast mentality. I mean, those locker room bias that are just like it came like at the part of celebration, but also it just make like a really good statement of what we need it for. Great mentality, great celebration, and of course, we're bringing it back because we're now, just like the song say, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Right. I love it.
All right, so I want to. All you guys made good points. I want to touch on everything you guys said. First off, I want to say shout out to Afakasi. Stays just
Because
listening on the drive home. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
shout out to him because he's the one that helped me get this layout and the background going. You know,
I
I
was
hit him
gonna
up
ask
like
you,
that.
you got the live one going on in the background, huh?
Yeah.
Yo,
So
That's cool.
I hit him up like at 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, and asked, hey, dog, can you shoot me some pointers on how you do it? And I was working on it earlier. So shout out to him for helping me with that. And
Nice.
just to touch on all your guys' points, you know what I'm saying? I think first and foremost, I gotta say, like, we've never seen any kind of locker room really video or anything unless it was like media. You know, I'm pretty sure I heard more than once that like Josh McDaniels had like a real strict thing about his social media and or the players' social media and everything like that. So just to I guess for the players just to be able to feel that kind of freedom and be able to do what they want, you know, like that's also some kind of like weight lifted off their shoulders. But Max Crosby said that he bought the cigars the night before and he was passing them out before the game, you know, so that just goes to tell me his mindset was like, no, we're winning this fucking game. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like we're coming out here and we're gonna win this game. You know, he said that he was riding Nate Hobbs was with him in the car riding to the stadium before the game. And Nate Hobbs even told him, like, hey, I'm gonna get a sack today. Or not a sack, I'm gonna get an interception. You know, and that's why Max said he was running to the end zone with him, like celebrating with him and telling him, like, dog, you said you were gonna fucking do that, you know. I think them just having that mindset and just like, nah, yeah, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna take care of business and we're gonna do it our way. Like how Turf said, it was needed. It was that kind of confidence to be instilled into everybody in the building was needed. He said he was passing them out to towel boys, to staff, to
Yeah.
everybody. You know, he went in there with 2 big ass boxes full of cigars. He said so. I can see celebrating like this because I mean the team has to feel good about themselves, you know, in order to keep playing the way they're playing. So by all means, do what you do. But again, touching back to what Turf said, I think after this, things don't need to be put out there for everybody to see. You know, Max even touched on it. Like, you know, it's a family in there and some things need to stay in house. You know, so it's all good. Celebrate right now. Like, yeah, we're on a turning point. I won't be mad if they do it again. Trust me, you know, because that just goes to touch back to what Leo said. You know, we're the Raiders and we do things our way. You know, so we might be classy in a sense, but we're still gonna be Raiders at the end. You know, I always feel like the Raiders have been some kind of outcast in the league, but the NFL is always a better, more exciting thing to watch when the Raiders are relevant and good. You know, so just to touch on what everybody said, I'm not mad at it. I'm happy they did it. I'm happy we got to see it as fans, but to go on forward, I don't really need to see that anymore. I know what's going on now. I know where the team's at. I know where the
Mhm.
vibe and the chemistry is. So as long as we keep putting up dubs, like I'm super happy for real.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy you said that right now. You reminded me of something that I was telling a friend of mine the other day. How many more primetime games we have this year? You know, even though we're not so good and all that, but if you remember a few years back, we played the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. That was the most
Yeah,
watched Thanksgiving game in a long ass time. And the
yeah,
NFL knew, even though the Raiders aren't good, the ratings will be up because the fans will watch. The Raider fans will come to Dallas. And even though people may say your team sucks, you're the laughing stock, Raider Nation, the true Raider Nation, will always cheer, will always
always,
watch, and
always.
travel to go watch these damn teams. Best
Yeah,
believe. So when I saw how many games we had, I wasn't shocked. I was like, it makes sense because they know the
yeah.
ratings are gonna go up, bro. Like,
Hey,
come on.
I gotta tell you this. It is setting itself up to be one hell of a Christmas. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yes.
We
Oh,
playing.
you think
We
that's
playing
like
for
you
Christmas
I
think
am
that's by coincidence we're playing
and
Kansas
that's
City on
why I
Christmas?
said I gotta say
on Christmas.
that.
On
Man,
Christmas Day.
yeah, we played the Chiefs
Oh,
You play the Chiefs, bro.
in
hmm
Kansas City.
I didn't even
It is
realize the tail
every
end of the
bit
season yet.
every bit of my fiber is killing me. Like
That
my
is what is
wife
up.
is watching this right now, so I got I want to go to Kansas City so bad. I have to bring the whole family. It's Christmas Day. It's a
Yeah,
Christmas. Yeah, it is.
we were thinking the same because my brother is a Chiefs fan
Oh,
and my sister. So we're
oh,
like, oh, let's travel. But we're like, damn, that's Christmas
yeah.
Day though. Like that's a
It
lot.
is literally Christmas Day.
not only the
Yeah.
family, but everybody's traveling around that time.
And that's
Yeah,
the worst
exactly.
part of
Yeah,
it all. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a nightmare going through. But
yeah.
I
Mhm.
have
Prices go up for everything. Just
but I have a feeling, Raider Nation, ladies and gentlemen, that this Christmas game is going to probably be the biggest Christmas game watched of all time.
Oh.
Just my 2 cents.
I'm with you.
I mean, if we keep going the way we're going, I can see us getting at least one game on Kansas City. You know, I mean, Denver beat them.
Oh yeah, yeah. That I mean, and the thing people forget, like when you talk about rivalries, like that happens. If you
Yeah,
think about the years we used to win 2, 3 games a year, one of those games was against Kansas City.
yeah,
Right.
You know, rivalries are rivalries, and I wasn't shocked Denver won because they're rivals. So
yeah,
us in the AFC West, we know that we can lose to any one of them, or we can beat any one of them. That's just how it goes.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's facts. That's
Mhm.
facts. I mean, it like we were touching on. Like this is the first time we've ever seen five wide, and it just opened up so much of the offense. Like when they ran the 4 or 5 set receivers, it looked like a completely different offense out there. Like the middle of the field was literally wide open for
Wide
Jacoby
open.
Myers. Like I mean, they could even threw Mayer in there or
Mhm.
Hooper and done something with them. So I mean, I really think there's at least one, maybe two games that we're not supposed to win that we're gonna win. I
Yeah,
just have that
definitely.
gut feeling, especially after all this, and we keep going in the right direction. I think Sunday against the Jets is really gonna tell us, like, okay, was it that one hit wonder, or is this really something real? You know,
Right.
and let's transition over to the Jets. What's your guys' takes on Sunday's game?
Man, I think this is the perfect transition game exactly from what we just left, right? Because our offense have finally gotten a chance to get a little bit wide open, right? They've, had different sets, caused a lot of confusion, things that, right, the defense didn't expect to see. But now we're playing a real defense. So that's going to be awesome. And then you have the flip side of it, right? We have our defense, right, playing against a team that's pretty stacked. They're just lacking one piece, and it just so happens to be the most important piece on the field, which is the quarterback. So, I mean, we both got our challenges, right? Because if Zach decides to, come in ball, comes to play, our defense is going to be challenged, and we already know we're going to be challenged on the offense. So
Offense.
I think it's the perfect game at the perfect time. That's the key. I think it's perfect.
And especially like how you said, Zach Wilson. I mean, he has, like, I don't even want to say flashes. I want to say maybe like a couple plays a game, if that where he kind of shows he's a good quarterback, or he could be a decent quarterback maybe, but the consistency isn't there, you know. So if our defense can really put pressure on him, and our secondary can just do their job, you know, stay on their receivers or whatever long enough for, you know, the defensive line to get in there and make some type of impact, you know, whether it's throwing it away, whether it's an incomplete pass, more interceptions, Amik Robertson flying through the air like an angel, you know what I'm saying?
My
Like,
dude.
dude,
Uh,
when I saw that, it's like he was falling in slow motion, and it was like the whole world stopped. I was just like, Amik, you know, like he did it again, you know, like he is
Yeah.
showing out this season, you know, and big ups to shout out to Amik Robertson, man. And you earn your spot for real.
Absolutely.
But yeah, going back to the Jets, I really think just like how you guys said, I think we both have our problems, which is like how you said, Turf. It's the perfect game for us to see if we're gonna continue this uprise, you know. And I was saying earlier, even if we might lose, you know, as long as it's competitive and we don't lose like a lot and we stay in it, I'm still gonna, you know, applaud this team, you know, for what they did, because it's not going to be an easy game, especially for our offense, you know. So if we can do 3/4 of what we did in that Giants game, or even more, like, I'll be super happy.
Like, for real. Yeah, and I love football. I do. I watch all the teams, all the games, whatever. The Jets to me have always been one of the interesting teams, even last year. Because coming into this year, I always said all they needed was a quarterback. They have a quarterback; these dudes can go on a run because that defense can carry you. And
Yeah.
then you add Brees Hall coming back with the run game, bro. My, I think I don't think Sunday was a one-hit wonder, and I'll tell you why, because of the way our defense is playing. Our defense did it starting with Detroit. They
Yeah.
carried on over to New York, and I don't see why the defense wouldn't continue to do it against the Jets. My only thing that, like I said from the beginning, is how our offense is going to come out. If
Yeah.
we come out and can get a lead on these dudes, so where they can't keep running the ball with
Facts.
Brees Hall, and we make Zach Wilson be the one that beat us, then we will fucking be able to dominate him in that way. But that all goes to see how our offense plays, how
Yeah.
Bo is going to come out, how they're going to get Aiden set up. Like if we see more of that that 5-5-4 wide or whatever, I like it because it tells Aiden they're not playing man. You know,
Yeah.
it lets him recognize it. Or even when they do their little the motions. We talked about the motions.
Yep.
I was rewatching the game, and even Jacoby on the one where he scored, he was motioning like he was gonna block
Yeah,
somebody.
like he was
And
like,
then boom, he just got the ball and he took off.
yep. As
Like
soon as
things like
Aiden dropped that
that.
foot, my food just took off. I was like, oh
Yeah,
shit, it's a run.
exactly. So things like that. If we can catch the Jets off guard and score, say what, two touchdowns and make Zach Wilson be the one to beat us, then we'll be in more better shape. But because Brees Hall's no punk, like that dude can run, and we saw what Saquon was doing to us
Oh
before
yeah.
the Giants had to give up running the ball and they had to start throwing it. So that could have been a little dangerous. But it's I think it's going to be a really good game. It's reminding me of like those old school defensive battles I used to watch with the Steelers and the Ravens. I love those games. Like,
Yeah.
give me a 13-10 game where it's defense. That's my kind of fucking game. I
Yeah.
love watching
I'll
those.
be all for a game like that.
Yeah, so that's kind of like what I'm looking forward to on Sunday,
Agree.
brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was really shocked because at all about for the Jets defense. I mean, they might be careful about for Zach Wilson, but in my point of view right now, I mean, this is gonna be like really exciting because our key matches is gonna be like run the game, have a game plan exactly what we do against New York Giants over the last time, and of course, we might be careful about for Zach Wilson. And I know the offense just gave like exposed last night against the Chargers. I mean, we have the opportunity to take over the defense and the offense. It might be like a lockdown, but we had to be ready at this point of view after New York Giants because the other one is going to be like another statement. But we had to be careful about Zach Wilson as a quarterback because it's not going to be Aaron Rodgers because he's still injured and they got to go prepared. And I mean, the offices might be careful, but if we can play much aggression and intensity like we used to do at last night, at last game, I mean, we had a chance. And of course, between for 2 games against Kansas City Chiefs, we might have a chance because before last year we just lost. But with that new attitude, with that new energy, with Antonio Pierce, we have an opportunity to beat the Chiefs not one, twice, because we're bringing it back for the culture, and this could be like a great statement because everybody thought that the Chiefs is gonna be like the first one, but I think, in my opinion, right now the Chiefs and Pius gotta be down because right now we gotta take over the conference because the competition is gonna be tougher, but we gotta take over the first place
Yeah.
at the last moment.
Right. I
That's
think
right.
we're almost guaranteed a great game, guys,
Yeah.
because again, I've already discussed why the buy-in is going to be so paramount, just due to the fact that everybody had input. See, that's one of these, being a people leader, being a leader in my space in corporate America. One of the things I do is incorporate everybody's opinion right before a decision is made. And again, like I stated, it makes everyone feel involved and not only involved, accountable. So you're guaranteed to see that moving forward. See, this
Yeah.
is the type of team that inside that locker room, you don't want to be the dude that had one cigar too many, couldn't hold his liquor. Right? Don't want
Right.
to be that guy, right? Because see, that's the difference. See, I've been on teams. I can't say been on a team that's won it, but I've been on some great teams. And like AB stated, great teams are absolutely 100% team run. It's held accountable by the team members, man. I mean, we all held each other accountable. That was the last thing that coaches need to think about doing, right?
Yeah,
That was
yeah, yeah.
their worries. The
Yeah.
players were way motivated. They didn't need anybody to motivate them from that perspective. You just needed the coaching, right? So that you're given the right game plan. So to think we're going to lay an egg on having attitude and swagger and running, that's impossible. That's
my
impossible.
polo. Shit.
No, yeah,
Sorry
you're
about
right.
that, guys.
It's all good. They heard the message. They got it. But yeah, it's almost impossible, man. And the last but not least, we could have been doing this week 1. See,
That's
that's
the hard part.
that's why I'm saying, like, no reason to think there's going to be a letdown from that perspective because they're going to switch things up. They're going to make adjustments. This is not, this is my system. We're going to just run ourselves into the ground until we get it right. No, it's all decisions by the team for the team.
Yep.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's impossible. It's impossible.
Just touching on everything you just said right now, it reminds me to something else that Max Crosby was saying, how they went up to them and they asked offense and defense, like, what do you guys want to run? Like, what do you guys like to run? What are you guys comfortable running? What do you guys like to do? So the fact that the players are like, all right, yeah, let's do this. They're telling themselves like, oh shit, like, we're the ones that asked for this. Like, we really gotta execute. And like you said, accountability, like it's on the players now when the coordinators come up to them and like, all right, what do you guys want to do? And the coordinators actually buy into what the players want and they start doing it. So I think that gives a little bit more effort on some of the guys that maybe, like how Turf was saying, maybe didn't feel involved before, so just, I mean, it always feels good when your boss comes up to you and says, good job, or
Hell yeah.
what can I do to make
I'm
your
telling you,
job
they had
easier?
zero input. I'm telling you right now, they had absolutely zero input. It's obvious. You don't even need to ask that question.
Yeah, you could
They
see
were
it.
running what they were told.
Yeah,
They were doing what they were told.
Told.
They're supposed to be robots. It's the Patriot way, right?
Yeah.
And it's demoralizing. It becomes a soul snatcher. It just takes everything. Again, I've been on both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Story on my live last night or Tuesday night where we had a high school coach in his 70s. We running the wing team, man, and it's like, this is enough. So we had to have our parents speak up for us to get him fired. And what do you know? Immediately the next season, they didn't have playoffs, but absolutely everything changed. And guess what we were doing? We were running things. When it was 4th and 1, I'm getting the ball. And guess what? Everybody looked at, yeah, Terrence is getting the ball. It was no right. And guess
Right.
what? I didn't get the first down. But you see what I'm saying? It was
No, I
all
get you.
run by the team.
Yeah.
It really truly has been. Every level I've played, it's always been run by the team when we've had a great team. So I think you're going to see that, man. I mean, and then you're going to see the holes, right? Because that's the other part of it. We're going to know where we're soft. People are going to know where they're lacking, and you know, hey, you better have a good weight room season on the off season.
Yeah.
Somebody coming in. Practice squad is here now. See, they wasn't at the games before.
Yeah,
right. You noticed that? That was huge.
I didn't notice that until I heard it.
So he like, yep, that dude ready to take your spot. He ain't
like, you want to be here. You know what I'm saying? This is what it feels like. You know, to be on the field and everything.
Self accountability when you allow it to be for the group and about the group is almost impossible to stop.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Yeah, that's true when you think about it. Like, I've been on teams where you do it their way and everybody's so miserable and they don't let you do it any other way but theirs. You don't utilize your team's strengths, you know, anything like that. And then when we finally made the change, like, everybody was wondering, like, hey, what's the difference? And I was like, because I started listening to people and then they would tell me what they were good at and I started using them for that. So then, like, my chief would be like, what? And I was like, yeah, like, it's the same people. We're doing a lot better, but you changed the leadership. You put me in charge, and now I'm hearing them using their strengths, what they do best, and I'm letting them do it. So that's the only difference, bro. Before, we were being told how to do it, when to do it, and where to do it. You know, and we didn't want to come do it that way because it wasn't working. So yeah, I definitely hear you how that works, and that's why I want to keep seeing. And I'm glad that they're at a point where there's not much really they can do with the coach other than you put an intern and a GM and let's see where it goes. And we can just let these dudes do what they do. Like AP says, I'm playing with house money right now. I'm playing with house money. I'm going to do what I can and will do because I'm allowed to right now. And if I earn this job, I'm going to go out there and earn it. And if not, then that. And I've done a lot of research on them. Don't get it twisted. It's not like AP wasn't qualified for this position. You know, like, there were people out there that were already looking at him to promote him to different defensive coordinator, things like that. Or even with Champ, you know, how many teams have an assistant general manager to the general manager? Like, they kept him around for a fucking reason. You know, Mark's not as dumb as people think, you know, like, Champ wasn't just there for him to follow. Like people in the league were already talking about this dude and possibly having him come to their team as a GM. So him being here, being able to do that, already making moves by bringing in Jalen Smith and adding needs to the linebacking core, which we've been screaming all damn year for, instead of adding more defensive backs, you know. Like the first move, bringing Jalen Smith and getting rid of David Long, I was like, I already like it. Like, I already like it. Like, let's go, you know. Like, so I'm just looking forward. I'm gonna keep staying positive, like y'all say. We're gonna cheers, screaming Raiders every damn Sunday. I'm bringing that swag back. I'm gonna try.
Haters.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and make it out there on Sunday to kick it with y'all. If not, I'm definitely gonna be there in December for the game against the Vikings. But yeah, dude, it's just, I'm loving it. I'm loving what I see and what I feel. And even when I watch the press conferences, I'm not there like, oh, even the chat and the conferences when you watch them.
Yeah.
Normally all you see is firing, fuck Daniels, fire.
Clown emoji, clown emoji.
Right, all you see is clown, or you know.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, and when you know, and we're good, you know, and then we try to, and
oh man,
that way, no, I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I used to say every time. I don't fucking know what you mean. Explain that shit to me. I do not know what the fuck you're talking about.
You should have hired a public speaker, my dude. How do you not?
I always wonder why they didn't. Yeah,
you have millions of dollars.
Yeah,
you say
hire a PR person. Real shit.
I don't get it. I just
take some classes. No, I to touch back on one thing that Leo said before. I don't know how much time you guys got before you guys get out of here. I really think what we've been doing, or what we did in that Giants game, for our defense to go out there first, make a stop, and then for us to, you know, go and make a quick score. It really did feel like the Giants had to play catch up, you know, and they I mean, they were running the ball good, but once we got it going, you know, and the defense kept doing their thing. After that first score, you know, we kind of just kept our foot on the gas, and we didn't get touchdowns, but we still kept putting up points, and our defense still kept coming through. Yeah,
pinned our ears back.
Pinned the ear back.
Pinned them back and got 8 sacks. See, again, we could have been doing this from day one.
8 sacks.
But Josh McDonuts didn't want to allow that. He didn't want anybody doing anything other than his way. And he had his reasons for this because he wanted to break everyone down mentally to nothing so that he could have it his way and rule the iron fist, if you will, like his daddy, Mr. Bill Belichick. And that way is so old, tired, done, and gone. And everybody's been saying it. I mean, hey, I know I said it way before a lot of other these talking pundits and, you know, talking heads have said it because, again, I've lived it. I've literally lived it. And I'll never forget when we had a coach running the wing tee. I'm telling you, there's nothing worse. Nobody wants to play. Nobody's motivated to do anything. Yo, the other team knows what you're doing. It's a day. you just getting
embarrassing.
Getting smacked up before. Josh Jacobs, I don't think he ever had a run these whole first few games without somebody on his behind.
Right, without somebody hitting him in the backfield.
Yeah.
He never got to the line of scrimmage unscathed. So it was a
tough 2-3 yards for him every time and shit.
No adjustments, same old, and just a bunch of just terrible mistakes from a coaching perspective. It was so obvious what the problem was.
For sure.
Yeah, no, that's facts. It just goes to show you, you know, what one weak link, you know, could do to the entire chain and shit. You know, like it just having McDaniels at the head of that realm and at the head of that chain, you know, just it crippled the entire team. Him trying to do things his way, and for less than a week of preparation to go out there and put up what they did was nothing less than amazing to me. You know,
not even like you said, not even just a link, but he was the main one who was supposed to be running the shit. That's what makes it worse. Exactly. And it not only hit the team, but in a way it kind of infected the nation as well. You know, and I think that was the worst part. I
mean, because but before the firing and before this win, like I've said it a couple times. You know, there were people that believed in McDaniels, people that didn't. You know, people that wanted Garoppolo, people that didn't, people that hated Carr, people that love Carr, people that want Gruden. People, I mean, the fan base was so split. Like I've never seen it like in so many different directions. You know, over a few things that have happened. You know, and I think a lot of it did come from Josh McDaniels. You know, like just the way he handled things as a head coach and as a leader. I think there was just a lot of choices he made that were just not the right choice or just handled wrong.
Right. Every choice he made was wrong. Every choice. Let's be real. That was the part.
Okay. Was it though? Because then you go back to what he was saying. A lot of us felt that even though it was time to move on for Carr, it was McDaniels' choice. Was that a wrong choice?
It just makes me think like why did we hire him?
See, I'm not one of the guys that hated Carr. I wasn't.
Me either. Yeah, I'm not either. Yeah.
I wasn't like shipping him off yesterday, but I'll be the first to raise my hand and say I think it was time for a change.
Okay.
No, I agree though.
9 years, bro. 9 years.
Right.
One playoff game. Yeah. I'm just saying, at some point, you gotta for both parties involved.
Yeah, and I think the funny part is because you watch them with the Saints and you see their fan base, and they're bitching way before we were. You know, they want him gone, and he ain't even been there yet.
When you're that,
Leo made
you can't change who you are anymore. That ship is sailed. He's not going to learn.
The way Leo described that, though, he's like, when you see him do the same thing in a different jersey, and I was like, you got like Raider goggles on. It's just like, what the fuck? It's
Raider when I watched that Thursday night game, I was like, dude.
Wow.
Like it stood out more.
Unfortunately, I gotta agree with you on that because just there are some things that decisions he makes and times in games where you're just like, what the fuck was that?
Right.
You know, like I don't get it. You know, it's like when you hit the wrong button on Madden or some shit.
I mean, when it comes to the case of Derek Carr, I mean, how can you support everything about it? Because after 9 years, I think, and I was saying this, I think it's time to move on. And since that I was a go for it, I think it's time to move on and go past the page right now. Because how many years did Derek Carr just win a playoff? There's nothing. And it's just it's all same thing, or the different coaches of different, and the experiment is still like it's not working at all. And I think they have the opportunity to see how they both about the experiment of Antonio Pierce and Adrian O'Connor. It feels like the good chemistry because it's just like a missing part that we needed for because the whole experiment between Jimmy Garoppolo and Josh McDaniels, it didn't exist. It didn't work at all. It didn't work it out. It's just like a garbage because all the play calls and of course all these conservative play calls and throwing off of the pass right now. I think like the task for the quarterback is feeding up all the right receivers and the running backs. So what's it do? Jimmy Garoppolo does? He's good at the wide open, but he's fumbling around it. And I think he's at a page. And I think Aaron O'Connor having the chemistry with Antonio Pierce, it became for the perfect moment. And I know that Derek Carr is no longer here, so we cannot, but it had to go for it. And I mean, this is like the perfect time because there's no Derek Carr, there's no Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, this is like the best opportunity to see how the chemistry is gonna be involved. Because after years of suffering, pain, I think this is the time for the moment to see like a new rebirth. New rebirth.
And ironically, Jimmy Garoppolo finds himself in the same situation as Derek Carr did last year. They're not going to play him. They're not going to play him anymore for the rest of the season because if he gets hurt, then he's guaranteed that $12 million next year. So it ain't exactly like Carr because I think that was like 40 something million.
Oh yeah, that was a way different amount. But
but at the same time, I mean, Garoppolo's done. You know, he ain't coming back, and I honestly don't think they're gonna play him for the rest of the year. I think if anything does happen, they'll probably just pick someone up.
The crazy part is I didn't realize he was listed as the backup on Sunday. I didn't. I like my mind didn't go to who was the backup and who it was. I was just focused on O'Connell and how we were gonna do. And then afterwards, I was like, "Oh shit, Jimmy's the backup."
I don't even know. See him in the locker room after the game, though. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I felt a little bad for him. You know, you see Antonio Pierce like Raider and everybody else, and he's just like Raider.
But you know what? Kudos to Jimmy for staying there as the backup because that was what a lot of people told me about my dude when he picked up his football and went home. When they made him, my car when they made him a backup and instead of staying there. No, they made him go home.
They made him go home, though. You know, so, they didn't want him there.
Carr would have stayed. They made him go home. You know,
so I think that's the one messed up thing that McDaniels did is he didn't give Chancellor Carr to like say goodbye to the fans, have that last game in Allegiant Stadium. Like, I think that was the one thing for me as a fan. Like, you know, would have been like, all right, dog, like, thank you for everything you did. You know, good luck to you. I mean, it's still like that, but not for him to be here as long as he did and go through as much shit as he did and not to have that opportunity, I think was fucked up on McDaniels.
But honestly, there's only been one player who got that chance, and I think it was Woodson. Tim Brown never got that chance. Marcus Allen never got that chance. It's just part of the NFL, you know. I think luckily Woodson got to do that with us, and I'm glad he did. You know, say farewell to Oakland and all that shit with us. But I get what you're saying, though. But I think that's part of the NFL too. They don't always get to do that. I'm hoping that eventually one day he does, but who knows?
I mean, hopefully he'll come back one day and get that one-day contract and retire a Raider.
Yeah.
Bottom line, Josh McDaniels is not a good person.
No.
I'm going there because again, I'm just saying, man, it speaks volumes when people finally start coming out. You know what I'm saying? After the fact. And it just tells me more than enough, man. I've been a captain on a football team. I've been a leader in my career where I am now, etc. I'm just telling you, man, there's a problem when there's countless people talking about you in a negative way. And I know enough and I've heard enough to know it's just not a good person.
Yeah.
Right.
Not a good person. These are the kind of things that happen, man. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, regardless of if it's you or somebody else, right? And he's not the only not good person in the NFL. There's plenty of them. And there's
No, yeah.
guys that will vouch for that because
Mhm.
there are certain things you will allow yourself to do and will not. Everybody draws the line somewhere.
Right.
And that it just goes to show you he has no one. His
Not,
heart is cold. It's gone. It's
not only that, but if you're that type of coach and you're not winning, like what branch do you have to sell on? Like I've heard people bitch about Parcells, what an asshole he was, right? But that motherfucker won Super Bowls though. So what was Phil Sims gonna say? You know,
when you win, nobody cares.
nobody cares. Yeah, if
Keep
you're gonna be like that and win, you're gonna be
Exactly.
like that then win. But if you're being like that and you're losing, you got issues, bro.
Yeah, especially when from what everything I've heard and the couple of things, I think Crosby came out and said it didn't exactly go down like that, but
Yeah,
when they had that meeting and like all the players, were addressing McDaniels and letting him know how they really felt, for him to be the head coach and not address his team personally, to ask or tell Antonio Pierce to go up there and speak for him because he doesn't know how to give those kind of speeches. He doesn't know how to talk, period. But he isn't that kind of guy. And then when Pierce, brings up everything, and for him being the head coach of the Raiders to go up to him and be like, don't talk about the Patriots like that. Fool, you're the fucking head coach of the Raiders. Fuck the Patriots.
It goes.
But you already heard Max that it didn't go down like that.
It goes even further steps back, bro. It goes further steps back, man. I mean,
yeah, I agree. It's just for him to have that opportunity to address the team as a head coach, like, all right, yeah, I've been
well, what I mean as far as for it to go further back is again part of that not being a good person, because if you're a good person, chances are you have a good self-awareness.
Yeah,
and as a head coach, you should know every play. You should know how to push every player's button like each and every child.
Yeah.
And again, that just goes to show you just don't got it. And the fact he was so hurt and blindsided over all those stories about, right, I didn't know how anyone felt. That is the problem to start. It doesn't even matter. And nothing else matters. You didn't even – the fact that you failed at not knowing that before you had to get to that point tells you –
not even, like how you said, not even being aware of it.
Self-awareness, man. It's a thing that a lot of people – I guess it's not common sense or just naturally to have because no, I'm being honest, man.
Common sense ain't so common. You know that, sir.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man.
So we're passing a little bit over an hour here, right, guys? I appreciate all you guys' time. You guys want to give your final thoughts, whether it's about the game, the team, and then shout out, your guys' pages and stuff. Like I said, I don't have a moderator. I don't know how to do all that.
No worries. To shoot you, I don't have one either, man. Hey,
I don't either. We're good. The three of us, we're gonna have to get in the chat and figure out how to get a moderator.
We all growing together, fam. We all growing together.
Hey, I appreciate you, homie. As you stated, this was my first time, and I couldn't have had a better time, man. I really appreciate the hospitality. I think this was awesome topics that we got discussed and debated, if you will. And I can't wait to come back for another show, man. I'm over at the Ultimate Raider Fan 32. That's Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. And I'm going to continue to keep giving the fans as much information and knowledge that I have based on a person that's played this game and just love it since 5-6 years old. So. Appreciate you,
man. Yeah, thank you again for being here. Just blessing my channel and your knowledge, your opinion, everything. Like you said, I felt like we covered a lot of stuff that's happened in this week since the game. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna get another show going before the Jets, and we'll probably touch a little bit more on that one. Leo, why don't you go ahead and final thoughts and shout yourself out, man?
Oh man, you know me. I'm all about supporting this team, this cause, everything we do. Much love to you guys, our little group that we've been creating. And I'm glad that we're able to bring the shit we talk about on our chat amongst each other to the fans. Because those talks that we have on there, that's what we bring on here. The real football talk, the what's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on behind you. Not been making shit up or try to get shit for attention because we're not all about that. We're here just to talk about the shit that's going on with the nation, with the team, how hype we are. We stay hype, and I'm always gonna stay hype, bro, because I'm a
Hell
diehard
yeah.
Raiders since I was a kid. I'm a diehard LA Raider fan, just so you know. I'm
Hell
always
yeah.
gonna be about that shit. So just follow me, Instagram, TikTok, here on YouTube at Cheeto Linus, always, bro. It's a pleasure be meeting you. You've come down this way, down the hill to watch games with us, brother. You're always more than welcome to. And we just always keep it real around here, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you again, man, for being here on the very first episode of Real Men Are Raiders podcast. You know what I'm saying? You saw me going back and forth with names and everything, and I just decided to keep it on what it is because it says exactly what it is.
Exactly, bro. Stay with it.
So once
Yeah.
again, Leo, I appreciate your time, man. We'll be talking to you soon. Rafa, go ahead and give me your last thoughts. Go ahead and shout yourself out, YouTube, social medias, anything like that.
Well, my final thoughts. This is gonna be like a really exciting game between Raiders versus Jets, with the same mentality, with the same energy, with Antonio Pierce, and I think we had a chance to prove to the whole world that we can shock with the whole defense and offense. And you can follow me on social media at Capitan Rafucho on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Also, my channel, Rafael Chacin, is hitting off for more than 800 subscribers. And I'm doing
No.
like a Bring It Back My Raiders podcast, every episode with special guests. Also, not only I'm gonna talk it about for the Raiders, but also with kind of sports like basketball, UFC, of all kind of sports of combat, and I really loved it. So appreciated that, and of course, have a great one, folks, and salute to you. Then, real man,
Thanks
real
again,
talk.
Rafa.
I just wanted to say it: Raider Nation for life.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, baby.
Raiders, baby. And just my final thoughts, my final conclusions, y'all. I'm super happy I was able to get this series going. Thank you again to my guests that were here today, and to everybody in the chat that showed up, hung out, commented, just engaged with us. Like, that's what this is all about. We want to hear what you guys have to say. We want to hear what you guys think. We want to bring you guys the content that you guys want, as well as doing what we want at the same time. So getting your guys' feedback, opinions, commenting, all that stuff, it lets us know exactly, if we're doing the right thing, and if we're giving the audience, what they want. So shout out to everybody that showed up again. Once again, this is Real Men Are Raiders, CT Dinero, real men, real talk, all the time, nothing but Raiders. And I'm out, y'all. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace out, y'all. I appreciate you guys.
All right, have a good one.